Hello everyone, my name is Godfrey Devaputra, working as Associate Professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Maharaja Institute of Technology, Mysore. In the previous video, we had introduced forecasting, the different types of forecasting, need for forecasting, objectives, limitations, as well as we introduced to one of the fundamental methods of forecasting, which is called as opinion and judgmental methods. In this particular video, I'm going to introduce you to the other method, which is which is used extensively in the industry. The method is called as time series method. This particular method is basically expressed as the demand is basically expressed as function of time. That means to say, in time series, the forecasting for the subsequent period is done based on the data that is available of the past. So that means to say, all the data is arranged chronologically, and in order to forecast what is likely to happen in terms of demand for the subsequent period, the data or the kind of behavior the demand has taken over the past period is taken into consideration. So for example, here there is an example that I have written here. Here there is a data which is available in the form of year with respect to the number of refrigerators in hundreds. Here the question is, in the example the question is, what might be the forecast of demand that is likely to happen for the year 2001, 2000 and 2001. So in order to calculate this particular value, we are going to use the information that is already available in the form of the past records, that is by using the information about 97, 98, 98, 99, 99, 2000. You may, depending upon the data that is available, you can always use the number of information, that is, you need not always limit it to the 3 periods. You can use n number of periods in order to make the forecast of the subsequent period much more reliable. So here in time series, the demand, irrespective of what all the factors that basically affects the demand, all of them, they are all expressed in terms of time. That means to say, all the factors that shape the demand for the subsequent period, they are all clubbed together and expressed in terms of time, and demand is expressed as a series of data with respect to time. So here, when we speak about time series methods, these are the components of time series that is fundamentally used as the case may be. So Y being the forecast value is expressed as a function of T, C, S and R, where T is the trend, C is the cyclic variations, S is the seasonal variations and R is the irregular fluctuations. Now the long period tendency, now for example, when I am speaking about the trend here, the trend of the past, that means to say the long period tendency of increasing or decreasing is known as trend. This is basically a long term secular movement of the demand which indicates the growth of an organization. So considering all the factors that is contributing to the sales forecast or the demand forecast that is happening over the past periods, this linear trend is always assumed to not be disturbed by any of the other factors. So the second most importantly that we have is something which is called as cyclic variations. When I am speaking about cyclic variations, these cyclic variations fluctuates above or below a particular trend line, oscillating in a pattern. For example, if we consider the demand for gold depending upon the period of a particular year, the demand for gold keeps on varying and it takes a definite pattern. Say for example, if there is a period wherein the number of marriages that take place in the demographical area is at the peak, so therefore in that particular period of time the demand for gold is likely to be more, and this is likely to repeat in the next year. So therefore there is a definite cyclic pattern that arises in the demand over a trend line. So this particular component of the time series is what is called as the cyclic variations. The other one is called as seasonal variations. Depending upon the season, Say for example, when I'm speaking about the demand for rasna, say for example, during every summer, perhaps like most of you would have seen the advertisements which used to be aired. Demand for rasna used to start in the midway of February, and it used to go up till May or June and then stop all of a sudden. So this particular kind of variation in the demand, this happens because of the season. There is absolutely no way in which you can expect rasna to be advertised or sought after in the month of December. So this kind of variation is called as seasonal variations. So seasonal variations also have a definite pattern, but then depending upon climatic conditions, social customs, festivals, etc., depending upon number of parameters, these seasonal variations do take a pattern. But this pattern, most of the times, will not give you a definite picture regarding what is the forecast that we can actually make. The other most important parameter that we have when we are speaking about time series is called as the irregular fluctuations. Irregular fluctuations are not controlled. That means to say, there is absolutely no way to predict what is likely to happen when I am considering these irregular fluctuations. The reason is, this may be in effect of the climatic conditions, it may be in effect of some kind of a calamity, some kind of drop in the economy. This particular parameter is in effect which is not at all predictable. So therefore, this is irregular fluctuation also plays a vital role in when we are speaking about time series components. So here, y, which is the forecast value, primarily depends on the trend, the cyclic variations, seasonal variations, and random fluctuations which is likely to happen at any point of time. So therefore, when we are speaking about time series forecast, that means to say, trying to forecast based on the quantitative data that is available from the past in order to forecast for a subsequent period. When we are trying to do that, we use time series, and time series has 4 different components: trend, cyclic variations, seasonal variations, irregular fluctuations, and all of them can be quantified and analyzed in the form of data and graphs. Moving on, every business organization tries to forecast the likely demand of their product or service by using various methods. So in time series method, there are 5 different methods that is used by organizations all over. The first of which is called as a simple average. Simple average is the simplest of the method that we have in order to forecast, wherein the average of the demands for the number of periods that is there in the data sheet, that is all of them, they are all considered, and the average that is calculated afterwards is concluded as the forecast for the subsequent period. So here, the sum of demands for all periods divided by the number of periods is called as the simple average. This is the formula which is given. The simple average is equal to summation of di from I is equal to 1 to n divided by n, that is d1 plus d2 plus etc. up to dn divided by n, where n is the number of period and d is the demand for period. As you can see, we have this particular method wherein we calculate the average, and we simply consider the average value to be the forecast for the subsequent period. This is the fundamental method that we have in the time series method, simple average. The second most important method that we have is called as simple moving average. In simple moving average, here there is a concept called as moving average that is coming into picture. Moving average in the sense, we fix up a particular number of periods and then calculate the average of those periods cumulatively. So what basically happens is, moving average is the sum of demand for periods, that is chosen number of periods, divided by the chosen number of periods. So here all the periods, all the data of all the periods that we have are not considered. Here only the periods that is chosen to basically reflect as most approximate forecast value, or to say the older data is basically eliminated. So here moving average is calculated as summation of t is equal to 1 to n di divided by n, where n is the chosen number of periods, and this t can range from 1 to n. 1 to n, n 1 being the oldest period in the n period average, and t is equal to n is the most recent period, and d is the demand. So here, as you can see, this is slightly different from the simple average in the sense that in simple average all of the periods are considered, and whereas in the moving average only the chosen number of periods, that in that most often the most recent periods are considered. So this gives you a better forecast value than the simple average. The third method that we have is the weighted moving average method. Weightage means it may so happen that a particular commodity may be, the forecast for a particular commodity may be more accurate if you consider the weights for a particular set of periods in the past. So that means to say not all the periods are considered on the same level, only certain set of periods are considered with a certain amount of more importance. That giving importance to a particular set of data is what is called as giving weights. So weighted moving average is equal to sum of demands for the chosen number of periods, each multiplied by its respective weightage. That means to say all the periods are not considered here, only certain set of periods are considered which are in effect more important to give you a better forecast. So here the formula that is used is weighted moving average is equal to summation of t is equal to 1 to n Ct dt, where Ct is the weight for weight given for the period t. Now we need to note that these weightage can take a value from 0 to 1. That means to say when you sum of all the weightage, it cannot exceed 1 and it cannot be lesser than 0. So these are the three methods that we have. The next method that we basically have is something which is called as simple exponential smoothing. Before we move into this next method, which is called as simple exponential smoothing method, let us try to solve a problem wherein we will try to use the just concluded three methods, that is simple average, simple moving average and weighted moving average for a particular problem. Here there is a problem that I have considered here, that the past data for sales of wet grinders of a particular company in an area is given here. That means to say the month and sales of a particular year is given, January, February, March, April, May and June, and the respective sales value is also given. Kindly note that this data has already been captured that for the past data. By using this particular data, we need to forecast for the July. That means to say for the next period we need to forecast by using simple average, a 3-month moving average and a 3-month moving average with weights of 0.5, 0.3 and 0.2 for the latest 3 months respectively. So this is the data which is given. This is the kind of data that we encounter when we are solving forecasting problems. So for the first method, here we are going to use the simple average. That is, we have already noted down the formula for simple average, that is the sum of the demand for all the periods divided by the number of periods that we basically have. So that means to say here so summation of 585, 610, 675, 750, 860 and 970 divided by the number of periods that is available in the data set, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means to say when you do this computation you will get a value of around 741.66. So in essence, by using the simple average, what we have done is we have tried to forecast for the value for the month of July as we have done here by considering the simple average as a summation of demands for all the periods given in the data set divided by the number of periods in the data set. So by using simple average, 741.6 is the forecast for the month of July. Now the second question that is available here, that is given in the question, is a 3-month moving average. When we use the 3-month moving average, so we have already noted down the formula that we use, sum of demands for chosen number of periods divided by chosen number of periods. So since this is the 3 years moving average that we are speaking about, we are going to consider the last 3 months that is available in the data set. That means to say we are not going to consider January, February, March, because they being slightly far away from July. So we are going to consider a just concluded month, before that and before that. That means to say the latest 3 months are considered, that is April, May and June, for the moving average. So that means to say here I am going to write the value as 750 plus 860. These are the moving average, these are the values that is available as the actual demand for the month of April, May and June, and the chosen number of periods is 3. So when you compute this, you get a value of 860. So therefore, by using the moving average method, a 3 months moving average as it is given in the question, so we consider the latest 3 months in the data set divided by the chosen number of periods, we get a value of 860. So therefore, as per the 3 months moving average, the forecast for the month of July is 860. Kindly note that this 3 months moving average here can also be a 4 month moving average or a 2 month moving average. Depending upon the term that is given in the question, we are supposed to modify the formula. The third sub question that we have here in this given question is a 3 month moving average with weights of 0.5, 0.3 and 0.2 for the latest 3 months. This is slightly a better improvement in terms of the methodology than a moving average. So what we basically kind of need to do is, for the latest 3 months that is given in the data set, we are supposed to give the weightage of 0.5, 0.3 and 0.2 for the last 3 months. So therefore, the weighted moving average given by the formula summation of t is equal to 1 Ct dt, this we have already noted. So here, as per the question that is available here, 970 is the demand that we have for the month of June, which is the last period in the given data set. So this is multiplied by 0.5 as given in the weightage, plus 860 is the demand that is available for the next latest period. The weightage given is 0.3 and the next one is 750 multiplied by 0.2. So this is in essence what is called as the weighted moving average. So when you compute this particular you will get a value of 893. So as per weighted moving average, the forecast for the month of July is 893. Now the question that was given initially was to forecast for the month of July by using the data set, by using the 3 methods. So in essence what we have done is, by using 3 different methods, we have 3 different forecast values. That is, by using simple average we have 741, by using 3 months moving average we have 860, and by using weighted moving average 893. Now practically when we speak about an organization, depending upon the longevity of the method that is used in a particular company, sticks to one of the methods. It is not necessary that we start judging this method or that method. It is in essence whatever proves to be more accurate over a period of time, a company sticks to that particular method. Moving on, the fourth method that we have already dealt with: simple average, simple moving average and weighted moving average. The fourth method that we have in the time series methods is the simple exponential smoothing. Now, simple exponential smoothing is a betterment of the weighted moving average, wherein the average which is moving from one period to the subsequent period is progressively considered with a smoothing constant. So the smoothing constant here is called as an alpha. So the weights, when we are speaking about weighted moving average, the weights for the periods were fixed as 0.5, 0.3, 0.2. Now here what we basically do is that these weights are also considered, but in essence along with the weights, the error that has happened in the previous period, that means to say the actual demand and the forecasted demand for a particular period, ideally that was supposed to be 0. That means to say the difference between actual and the actual demand and the forecasted demand was supposed to be 0. That means to say that there was supposed to be no error. But in realistic conditions, what happens is often in all of the cases, there is always going to be difference between the actual demand and the forecasted demand. This particular value is called as the forecast error. Now we are going to consider this forecast error when we are forecasting for the subsequent period. That means to say, when we want to forecast for a particular period, we are going to use the forecast of the previous period along with the error, and this particular error we want to eliminate or give certain amount of weightage for this particular error, and in doing so we are trying to smooth out the error which has happened in the past data. So therefore, the formula that we use when we are doing forecasting by using simple exponential method is Ft is equal to Ft minus 1 plus alpha into forecast error. Now Ft is the forecast for a particular period of time, Ft minus 1 is the forecast for the just concluded period, alpha is the smoothing constant, alpha is most of the value a given value which is between 0 and 1, and in some of the cases when alpha is not given, alpha is calculated as 2 divided by n plus 1, that is where n is the number of period. dt minus 1 is the actual demand for a particular period. So this is a method which moves from one particular period to the next period to the next period by trying to smooth out the error which has happened in the past. Here I have taken a problem here using simple exponential smoothing forecast method. We want to forecast for say the March 22nd, that is the period that is likely to happen next. So here the data set that is given is February 1st, 8th, 15th, 22, 1st of March, 8th of March and 15th of March. So that means to say for the next period that we are supposed to calculate is the 22nd of March. Here the first set of forecast value for the February 1st period is given as 500, and the actual demand in that particular period turned out to be 450. So here in this particular question, alpha is also given as 0.1. Now using this particular table, we want to forecast for the period of March 22nd. So the procedure goes like this. This is basically the structure of forecasting by using simple exponential method smoothing, simple exponential smoothing method for all of the problem. So to calculate the forecast here for the next period, that is the period number 8, we use the forecast of the previous period, that is Ft minus 1, that is 500 plus alpha is 0.1 multiplied by the forecast error, that is 500 minus 450. So we have already computed this particular value, and this value turned out to be 495. So by using the first period, we were actually trying to calculate the forecast for the next period. So whatever value that we get here, we're going to enter it here and call it as a forecast for the next period. So this particular process, I'll do this computation for one more period. Now I want to forecast for the next period, that is February 15th, by using the data available for February 8th. So 495 is the forecast value, alpha is 0.1, and we have forecast error that is 495 minus 505. So this value turns out to be 496. So we move on like this by using the same process. We use the data set that is available, that is the forecast value for the period termed as February 15th, forecast value, actual value, again we do the same calculation, and this is the forecast for the next period. So we go on like this. So I'm going to simply fill up the values here. So this is 498, 497, so we have done the computation by using the same procedure, and the value that we have got here is termed as the forecast for the period termed as March 22nd.